There we go. All right.
Oh, it makes me hit buttons every time you record or do anything. I have to. With that being said, good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Today is Sunday, April 10th. I'm always mindful to stay with the right date after I teleported us to September the other month. But just yeah, it's a spring morning that doesn't feel like spring, but that's okay. We're rolling with it. We know, at least in our part of the world, that the warm is coming because it's supposed to be more here, and it's not this morning. And I don't find that very kind, but I'm accepting. And with that, my name is Reverend Jamila Jamie, and I'm here with my favorite person to start my Sundays with, Reverend Marianne. And how are you?
I am well, thank you, and good morning to everybody, or good day, depending upon
Yeah.
what time of day and whether you're joining us live or you're joining us via recording. We are delighted to have you with us for another edition of Sunday Morning Grace.
Grace. Yes, yes. I'm excited for this one though, because we get to introduce something. So that's fun.
And by default, we ended up being the first to discuss this month's theme. Although last week we did introduce it in a post, but we get to be the first ones to discuss our new tenet. I love all beings with an open heart and an open mind, and what that means to us. But before we do that, let's just dig in and see what the angels have to say to us, to an opening blessing to just gather us in one space and just settle our hearts and our minds for today. So with that, I will invite you to just go ahead and close your eyes as you're able, obviously. Plant your feet on the ground. Just be aware of everything. Be aware of you. Be aware of the place where you're sitting or standing, what your feet are touching. And know that whatever your feet are touching, it's somehow grounded to the earth. Whether it's through a floor to the earth, whether you're actually standing outside in the grass and in the beautiful weather, whatever it may be, just know that we are one. Going into one of our tenets, I am one with Mother Earth. That we are always grounded. We're always part of it. And then with that, just take a deep breath in and release. And as we do that, we're just recognizing our accountability, our presence within the whole world. That we take up one small little space, but our thoughts, our energies, our emotions, we impact those around us, and they go in turn and impact others. So we are the beginning, and we can help contribute to the overall emotion of the globe just by being in a space of oneness with Mother Earth, of being in a place where we are focused on our heart and not our head always. But if we start with the heart and we allow our heart to lead, and we're bringing the best of who we are out into the universe, we can make a positive impact. Just remember, you have the ability to bring peace and calm to your own being and to share that with others. Be love, be peace, be calm, be support, be wonderful you. Another deep breath in, release, and as you're ready, open your eyes and let's discuss our new Tenet.
Yay, I'm so excited. That was beautiful. And I just feel like the perfect opening for this. I was not really sure how I was going to speak on this Tenet because to me it's the obvious. Like it's just what you do. In my world, that's just what you do. So it's like, how do I? But when you just, we're saying like the being part, the being, and knowing for me when it comes to, loving all people with an open heart, with an open mind, knowing that life happens to so many of us in different and various ways. And when we're not going through things that others may be going through, it's a lot easier for us to, look and as much as I don't like to admit it, but I do at times, I, can kind of be judgmental. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they, and the truth is we don't know why. We don't always know why, or we may know why. And I just find that with so much, the past couple of years in the collective, just different things that could cause us division or cause us to have very strong opinions, that somewhere in that we've kind of lost that truly loving people with an open heart and an open mind. Because it's like I see a lot of people, unfortunately, that have been playing out like they stop relationships, they stop communications. And I'm not saying if there's like a legit, like something legitimate to make you not continue a relationship with somebody, that's, I don't mean it in that. I'm just saying in the sense of like just differing opinions and the things that, I feel we can be fed at times, or just the things that we're told and we're only catching one side or another side. We're not able to have the information as a whole, I guess is a way to put it. We might not always see all sides. And we can be incredibly strong and passionate about our personal beliefs, and we have our reasons for having those. But we might not always be so willing to just be compassionate and open-minded as to why people may have a different opinion or a different belief. And knowing that like we can have those and still love each other. I mean, me and Marianne are prime examples of that. There's so many things that me and Marianne have different beliefs or we've made different choices on, but we just love each other and we understand why we feel the way we do about things. And if we're not sure, like we can just ask, like, hey, Marianne, like, I know you feel this way, but do you mind telling me why? I'm just trying to understand. Because if I'm able to ask her that, who knows, like my mind may change, my perception may change. It may not, but at least like I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand. And when I go step out into the world and I see other people who may have a different, a belief not in alignment with mine, I can be like, oh, it could be this or it could be that. And in reality, it really doesn't matter what it is because that's their choice. And I think that's what it comes down to when we speak of this tenet, is just loving with that open heart and open mind, and not, being so quick for, in my experience, to be so quick to judge, to hold compassion, because it's hard right now. Like it's just so much. And I feel like so many of us are experiencing, even not even necessarily the macro traumas, but the micro traumas, those little traumas that we don't even realize are a trauma sometimes. Those little things that stick, but they don't seem like a big deal. So we kind of brush it aside because, well, I've been through worse or I've had worse, but traumas can imprint us, and they're not always these great, big, huge things. Or they can imprint us, we could have a trauma imprint from something that happened when we were younger and we don't even realize it. So we might carry this, more of a conditioned, response that comes from a place of trauma than the openness of our hearts. We may not even be aware that we carry this, and it's like what makes us so quick and just we don't want to hear it any other way, because the way we learned it or we know to respond is what allowed us to survive. So for me, it's like when I'm able to keep, be mindful of that and be like, oh, like that makes so much sense now. And just again, I feel like that allows me to go deeper with the I'm compassionate in every moment tenet. Like for me, these two just go so hand in hand together. And that's what I've just really been noticing and feeling into as I explore a new tenet. Like when I go deeper with it, other than, well, that's just what we do. We should do that. But
And I think it's true that this, and Reverend Elvia alluded to it, this really completes the tenets, and we have, this tenet has been implied in many of our other tenets, but it's come to a place where our world, our communities are so divided. And the divide has probably always been there, but it's just become more pronounced. And so it makes sense to now really state, not just imply, but to absolutely state, I love all beings with an open heart and an open mind. And if we lead with that, I love, it means it doesn't matter whether I agree with you or I disagree with you. I love you in spite of whatever we may be. And you're right, the I am compassionate in every moment. They really do go hand in hand. So if we're remaining compassionate in every moment and we are loving all beings, we can then come from a place of love and come from a heart space, not a head space, and say, I am really interested to hear how you arrived at this thought, or why you're acting the way you do, or why you do something. It doesn't resonate with me, but I would be interested in hearing how you feel about it. And we can agree to disagree because we lead with love. So it doesn't have to be, I disagree with you and I'm never going to speak to you again. I'm putting this wall up. It's here I am. And we are going to go out and we're going to just lead by example. And we're going to come from two totally different mindsets on something, maybe a lot of somethings. But at the end of the day, we are going to be a unified front, and together we're going to go out, we're going to find a third person or a third group that may share some of my beliefs and some of your beliefs, and all are going to be welcome within our circle because we're going to learn from each other. And instead of looking at it as right and wrong, we're looking at it as your way, my way, and maybe middle ground. Because let's face it, none of us are perfect. We like to think we are at times, but we all bring strengths and we bring weaknesses into the world. And our job is to use our strengths to our greatest advantage for all, and to bring somebody who is stronger and can support our weaknesses. And together, we are this wonderful group or wonderful couple or wonderful community of supportive energies, inclusive of all. Doesn't matter what color their skin is, what gender they are, what religion they are, what nationality they are. It doesn't matter, because if we're leading with love, we are one with the divine.
I love that. Makes me think on something I saw the other day that just really landed with me. And it was like, it was along the lines of like, I don't want to just feel accepted in a room. Like I want to feel welcome. And it was like that delineation of like, okay, you can be here. You know, you might be this, you might think that, you might look at things this way, but okay, we'll let you here. Like, versus like, oh, I see you and your beliefs and what you stand for, and I welcome it, even if it's not mine. And I just thought, wow, like that, it's just something that I've never really thought that deeply on. Wasn't in my awareness. And like, since I saw that, it just really stuck. And I even thought of that too with this tenant, like, wow, to truly, welcome, like, yes, we accept, but are you really welcoming? And I just feel like if we're able to truly welcome and appreciate the differences that we all bring. I mean, I always, one of the things I was learning about when I was in one of my Sufi classes, they were talking about, why there's, people of different races and just the differences in general, different mindsets, different. And it was about the creation of multiplicity and diversity so that we're able to really learn from each other's strengths and even learn from their weaknesses. And, where one is strong, may they lift us up. And where we may be stronger, may we lift them up. And in the lifting up, like we're not just lifting, we're taking the time to teach and show and just, say we all come together in the space of support and universal support.
Mhm.
And again, and just in that space of loving everyone with that open heart and open mind. And I just can't help but think of some of the things that I've been through in life and like things I've even had to come to you with. And like you were the person I went to, and like the support is like your support getting me through those things, even if it wasn't something, even if you understood why, but it still wasn't something that's, that you may have done based on, your
Mhm.
beliefs. Like, I just always think on that because it's so much deeper than, I mean, it was incredibly deep for me to receive that support, but it's so deep on even a way to role model being in the world. And just like, I just see like even parents with their kids, like if the kids do something they don't agree with, they just start yelling and telling them why you don't do this. Nobody's meeting anyone with love anymore. And I'm just like, wow, like I can't help but just, envision because I want to see it, like feel into how wonderful and amazing it would feel if we all met each other with love. If rather than, just right off the bat telling someone what you don't like what they did, like if we just met them with love, the
Mhm.
difference that we could be, experiencing, how our life, well, experiences would be different, and how just welcome and accepted, we would all truly feel. Like I just so that's kind of what I've been working on as well since this tenant has come to fruition, is like how can, making sure, how can I better meet people with love,
Mhm.
with love and no judgment, with love without a motive to convince, to truly just accept with that open heart and open mind, and love with that open heart and open mind because of that.
And you reminded me as you were talking, just in my own personal experience, and full disclosure here, I got pregnant before I got married.
Mhm.
And I came from, as many of you know, I came from a deeply Catholic religious family. I was the oldest of 5 kids and, the child who could do no wrong. And here I come to my parents and I'm pregnant by a man that they were not real crazy about to begin, on top of
Oh,
it
you
all.
really did it.
I did it. I
You
did it
really
good.
did it.
But boy, was I paved the way for my siblings, or some of my siblings. Some of my siblings did it right. But my parents were deeply, deeply hurt. And as I get older, and I certainly understand, and being a parent of an older child now, I get it truly. But
Mhm.
my parents didn't speak to me for, well, my mom didn't. My mom was so hurt she wouldn't speak to me.
Oh,
My dad would take my phone calls if my mom wasn't around.
yeah.
But once that child, they softened over my pregnancy.
Mhm.
But once that child arrived, that child was their whole world. And when my marriage failed, my parents were the ones that took me in. And my
Mhm.
parents co-parented with me. So even though they were hurt, and so this tenet doesn't mean we can't be hurt or we
Mhm.
can't express our disagreement. What this
Mhm.
tenet means is at the core of it all is that love and that compassion. Because as you all know, I had an amazing relationship with both my parents. And that was because at the core, even though they were disappointed and they were hurt, it took time.
Mhm.
They came around. And so the tenet doesn't mean we have to walk around and say, kumbaya all the time. It doesn't mean that we're
Mhm.
going to have heated discussions from time to time, or we're going to be hurt and maybe walk away from somebody. But what we have to do is walk away to take that space to come back to that place of love, because that love is at the core of it. So it doesn't mean that we're not going to be hurt or that we're not going to have disagreements. It's how we approach it. And if we always remember at the core of it all is our love. And love is going to trump it all. It's going to be the one emotion, the one feeling that comes across that is always going to lead. And so, as I would always say to Krista when she was little and she did something that I didn't like, I don't like you very much right now, but I will always love you. And it wasn't so much, I don't like you, I don't like what you have done for that action. And when we always come from that, I will always love you in spite of the way I feel in this very moment. So this tenet also isn't taking away our power to feel other emotions. And I feel like that was, as you were discussing, it was that feeling just came, and I felt like it was really important for others to hear that.
Well, I think sometimes too, people feel like, well, if I love, like I can only feel like the good things.
Right.
But if you think about the people or the things you've loved in life, there's usually like a kind of messy side to it as well. Because, I mean, we tease it like love will make you do crazy things, but it's that passion, it's that want, it's that desire, so yeah, please do not ignore any unpleasant feelings that come. I mean, I used to tease and, tell Mike, well, you at least, like I care and I love you. Like, if you can make me mad, then I give a damn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to lead with love, but sometimes we are going to feel other emotions, but we always have to remember love is still sitting here and it might be beside, and love is going to get bigger and love is going to overtake whatever other emotions. And that's really, that's how I interpret the tenet and how I feel that I can live the tenet best in my life and how I can best embody it with others. That I might not like this, I might not be happy with this, this might not be the way I would do it, but that doesn't matter. I still see, I still love, and I still embrace you. That feels complete for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got nothing after that. In a beautiful way, I'm like, nope, that's it. I love how they just cut us off. Like, nope. That's a wrap. Yeah, but no, but that feels very complete.
Good. All right. So next week, Reverend Elvia and Reverend Peter will have a message for you.
Oh, that's right. We switched around a little
on
bit.
our tenet. Yes. So they will join you next week with another message. And I trust that Reverend Elvia is going to probably talk about how this whole tenet first evolved for her, and then shared with us, so that, and how we have embraced it. And then following that, we'll have Reverend Carolyn and Reverend Dawn sharing their interpretation of our new tenet as we continue the month of just loving all beings with an open heart and an open mind. And so for the first time, we are going to share the 13 tenets of the divine order of the sacred rose. So Jamie, whenever you're ready.
Wonderful. So as you all are guided, closing your hands. I don't know, Marianne, I've noticed you and me both have been very much like this today with our hands. So yes. If you're guided to join me and Marianne in our little hand coming together, we'll say, and closing your eyes and just taking a nice deep breath in. And letting it out. And even feeling into that lightness that's in the air right now. And just allowing yourself to really open up and receive these tenets. I open my heart with deep gratitude and intend today to master my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical energies. I am dedicated to my spiritual practice. I surrender to my soul's purpose through sacred prayer. I own my guidance.
I live in partnership with my angels. I serve with a loving heart. I am compassionate in every moment.
I trust it's all good. I allow immediate forgiveness. I honor my truth.
I listen to the spiritual messages within my physical body. I express myself creatively. I love all beings with an open heart and an open mind. I am one with Mother Earth, and so it is.
And so it is, and so it shall be. And as we walk into this beautiful gift of another day, another week, another day started together, may we continue to walk, seeing through the eyes of God's love. May we always speak words of love. May our hearts remain open so that we not only give, but allow ourselves to receive the love that we are. And everywhere that we walk, that our footsteps and everything that we touch, may we leave a legacy of love there as well. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Well, another fun Sunday morning
Yeah.
with my dear friend, Reverend Jamila Jamie.
Yay. My favorite Sundays. I get
And
so
just
excited for second Sundays.
And just as an aside, I did pull a Tenet stone
Oh,
for today. And so along with just being aware and thinking of our new tenant this week,
mhm.
as you move about your daily activities, also keep in your heart, I am dedicated to my spiritual practice. So being dedicated to your spiritual practice and loving all beings with an open heart and an open mind, how are you living that? How are you carrying that out to the world? How is that, coming back to our opening blessing, how is that starting with you and starting to ripple out to others and into your community?
I love that. And I have to say, I love the colors you're wearing today.
Thank you.
You're so bright and vibrant. I love it. So spring
I'm
feeling.
really willing spring to come.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm here like depressed in the shadows. I'm in the darkness and cold now. I love that. I love that. All right.
Well, thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Yeah, have a blessed and beautiful week. If you all need anything or have anything to share, feel free to comment or reach out to us. We love to be here and be of support for you. And go forth in love.
Absolutely. Love you all.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.